Welcome back to the Man Cave Podcast, everybody. So if you don't already know this, Donald Trump is probably the most polarizing figure in American history.
What?
This man has caused more division in households than a Cooking with Kaya late night video. But he's doing it fully clothed, so 1-0 Trump. But we apologize for the bi-week video. My man George was out getting surgery to not be gay anymore.
I don't think it took.
No.
We might have to do it again.
Still transitioning. But yeah, man, I'm glad to have you back. We got some more interesting stuff for y'all. Today we are talking about not just the Roman Empire and the fall of the Roman Empire, but how it is, how we can juxtapose the Roman Empire to
That's
like
a $10
American.
word right there.
And I don't even know if I used it right, but it felt.
I don't know if
it felt
anybody
right.
uses it correctly. I hear it thrown out. I've thrown it out once in a while.
Right.
I'm just like, I don't know if I used that properly.
So I'll make it simpler then. I think there are some things about the Roman Empire, specifically Julius Caesar's reign and his demise, that mirror what we're seeing today in American politics. That's a simpler word, right? Mirror. Yeah. You see it every fucking day. Anyway, do you know much about like Roman Empire, Julius Caesar, all of those?
Et tu, Brute? Is that? Yeah.
Good job, Vinny Vidi Vici. Yeah. So in his earlier life, Julius Caesar was not like this standout character. He's like, some people argue that he was born into a wealthy family, but some people say he really wasn't. So it's debatable. But some notable events in his life were that he joined the military at a young age. And I feel like
usually that's a theme,
right?
right?
It's like a recurrent theme with like these great leaders. They join the military. Whereas our current president is supposedly a draft dodger.
A what?
A draft dodger. So when he was old enough to join the military.
I got it.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, he had to go be on TV.
Well, apparently he had a doctor write a note saying that he had bone spurs and that disqualified him for being in the military.
Trump?
Yeah.
I
right.
know that.
Learn something new every day.
Shout out to him.
Right. Exactly. But so he joins the military at a young age.
I mean, I told you this shit's not the same no more.
Yeah.
Like, before it was like join the military at 15 and become a fucking success in there. And then you just, now it's like, I don't want to go.
Not really. Yeah. But we don't appreciate like our military heroes like they did back then.
That's true.
Like if you were a general, there was a good chance that you could lead the empire, which is kind of what happened with Julius Caesar. Now it's like, all right, you got money? Sure. You in fucking charge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because usually nobody knows the names of these commanders and generals. They aren't in mainstream media. It's nothing to talk about.
No, Elon Musk rules the world.
Basically. But yeah, so he joins the military at a young age, goes about like, the standard elevation from young soldier to like having a higher rank in the military, goes through this brutal battle in what's like now modern day Turkey. And then he has like kind of like this early, I guess it's a midlife crisis because back then, if you lived till 40, 50, you had a great fucking life.
You're old.
But around 33, he found the statue of our boy Alexander the Great. So he had to measure himself. He like, yo, this motherfucker conquered half the world when he was my age. I ain't really done shit. So it lit a fire under Julius Caesar. He goes back to Rome. With the sole purpose of like getting a higher position in the Roman government and taking over and expanding and kind of like leaving his mark on history.
Okay.
So, mind you, if he had just went on about his life, he probably would have lived a good life anyway. But
it's not about that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like so, he wants to leave a mark on history. So he goes and basically runs for like the highest position in Rome outside of Caesar. It was like he wanted to be the head of the church, the Roman Catholic Church.
Okay.
So in order to do that, he enlists the help of this guy who was like the wealthiest person he knew. Does that sound familiar?
That sounds actually kind of crazy.
Right. So he gets this guy, I believe his name was Pompey, gets this guy to back his campaign, becomes the head of the church.
Corrupt the voting process.
Exactly. After he does that, he now starts to make a push into the Senate so he can get like a better position like amongst his political peers.
Okay.
Now that he's done that, he's like, all right, here's my chance to become like a world-renowned general.
Mm-hmm.
He goes on these like massive campaigns, takes over the Gaelic, I guess not Gaelic, maybe it's pronounced Gaelic, but he takes over Gaul and has these crazy battles over here, wins them by the skin of his teeth, makes a name for himself, comes back to Rome, and he had two other homies, right?
Okay.
The one guy who was like his financial backing,
mm-hmm.
and then another one who was also a great general.
Okay.
His other friend who was a great general dies. So now it's just him and the other guy, Pompey.
Mm-hmm.
He comes back. Pompey's like, kind of want this shit for myself.
Naturally.
Right. So he tries to push him out, and Caesar learns about this. And so he comes to Rome with his army.
Mm-hmm.
And Pompey is like, listen, surrender and get the fuck out of here. Won't be no trouble. Caesar's like, nah, I want the smoke. So brings his army to Rome. They fight. Caesar pushes him out, takes control. Fast forward, Pompey eventually ends up dying because Caesar had won this battle where he probably shouldn't have won. So it was like a momentous triumph for him. Pompey flees to Egypt, and similar to the Alexander the Great story, he's chasing this guy. Pompey gets to Egypt, and they're like, yo, like, we don't want to have to fight Julius Caesar if he comes over here looking for your bitch ass.
Yeah. So they kill him.
They kill him. And then Caesar gets to Egypt, and he's like, yo, like, where is this dude? And it's like, yo, we did you a favor.
Yeah.
We got him out of here.
Yeah.
And it doesn't go well. So now fast forward, Caesar now comes back to Rome. He becomes, he gets named Caesar now.
Mm-hmm.
And basically he becomes he doesn't become the first emperor, but he becomes like the first real dictator. And the first thing he does, and I'm sure you can guess, but the first thing he does is he starts to appoint all his friends and his allies to like to like be senators. Yeah. And he expands the Senate. So now he's like, yo, I'm taking over. I'm purging the government. Mm-hmm. Cut all this DEI shit out. All y'all getting out of here if you didn't support me. Yeah. Well, he did keep some people around who were like political rivals who were supporting Pompey, which basically caused his demise, because after he became this dictator and he held the highest office, they ended up killing him. Mm-hmm. So they get Caesar to come into this conference, this meeting where they try to present some bill for him to review and approve, basically. Like 60 senators come into the room. They was like, hey, we need you to approve this. And as he's like reading it, they all creeping up and just stabbed him to death. Like Game of Thrones style. Mm-hmm. And like the person who struck the last blow was actually his nephew, which is wild as fuck, if you ask me. So he dies there. And then in his will, he basically appoints his nephew to become the emperor. Now, wild ass story, I know. But when I was thinking about it, I'm like, there's so many parallels that we can draw to what's happening today. Yeah. So one of the things is Caesar started to align himself with the church.
Religious. And yeah.
And Trump, remember when he was running for president, he made a massive push to get like the evangelicals and these hard, super duper Christian religious people.
We've had them in our comments before. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And I think that's kind of like,
history really be fucking repeating itself. That's insane.
Because Trump, I don't remember in his first term ever making it a big deal about the abortion shit. It was like why now?
Yeah.
But he knew if he had these like super religious people who the Democrats could not reach, didn't want to reach, to be quite honest. If he knew if he could get them, that was like one more base that would support his role. Yeah. Exactly. And so now, like when we look at the political climate for today, especially after the whole like Zelensky thing. Did you hear about that?
See, my wife, like, she's like anything political. She's like dived in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, me, I avoid it at all costs because that shit is draining. It's depressing.
draining,
it's fucking
for sure.
exhausting. So, like, if I'm ever on TikTok and I see some shit about like Trump and I see his face, I literally just keep swiping. But what's going on with the Zelensky thing? Because I've seen a couple and heard a little bit of this and that.
So Zelensky came over here basically to plead his case as to why the U.S. should keep supporting his war against Russia, which if you don't keep up with it, Zelensky's point of view is that Russia invaded Ukraine for the sole purpose of retaking the land and making it part of the Russian Empire. Zelensky's counter argument is like, yo, like if you let him take over Ukraine, there's nothing going to stop him from taking over Poland and the rest of these European countries.
Because normally they're not going to stop. Yeah, you know what I mean.
And then when you really think about it, like think about like the UK and the rest of Europe outside of Russia, you don't generally think of these people as like hardened, battle ready. Yeah. Like even though like history shows that the British Empire is something to be reckoned with, you look at Russia like, yo, like they don't give a fuck. They want to conquer.
Yeah.
So Zelensky's like trying to use that to, I guess, pull at Trump's heartstrings in a way.
Not gonna work.
Yeah, no. No, he don't want to hear that shit.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they basically dragged him the whole meeting. They dragged
the Zelensky dude. That was just
Trump,
clownable.
JD Vance.
Oh, he was around?
Yeah, he was there.
Because I haven't seen that motherfucker in anything since he was like at the inauguration.
Yeah. To be honest with you, like I watched like 48 minutes of the meeting. I watched it from start to finish because a lot of like Republicans will argue like, oh, if you only listen to sound bites, clips, you're getting like fake news or whatever. So I watched the full thing. And to be honest, the whole shit started where Zelensky was basically saying like Russia hasn't honored any of our like peace treaties, ceasefires since back in 2014 before Trump was even president, well, as he was becoming president. Yeah. And JD Vance got mad about that because he's like, yo, like JD Vance was trying to tell Zelensky, instead of us going to war and fighting, we should be more diplomatic. And Zelensky did exactly what I just said. He was like, yo, like, what diplomacy? Like, bro hasn't honored anything. Like, you signed a deal, give him the paper, and he at your back door busting the windows out the next day. Like, you don't want to hear that shit. Yeah. And so JD Vance basically started dogging him out. And then even before that happened, one of the reporters was asking Zelensky, like, yo, why you show up in here in a t-shirt and jeans and not wearing a suit like everybody else? When, if every time you see Elon Musk,
yeah, he always got a t-shirt on.
Bro, and hats?
His hat. Yeah.
Like, what are we actually talking about?
Yeah, Elon Musk look like he going to a baseball game every time.
Every day. Or he just rolled out of bed and came to work. Like, he don't give a fuck. But like, I think the biggest thing that we can take away from kind of the fall of the Roman Empire and why people think like it's repeating itself today is because we're no longer looking at our politicians as like capable leaders because they're fighting amongst themselves all the fucking time. Yeah.
So in the scenario of the Roman Empire and Caesar and everything, who is who in this situation? Is Trump Caesar? Obviously, he's doing Caesar-ish stuff when he's like, you know, Elon, back me up. Yeah. Oh, I won. Now I'm going to get my squad in here and we about to do it the way we want to do it.
So here's how I kind of see it, right? See, Trump, if I'm a Republican, then yes, Trump is for sure the Caesar in this scenario because he's the one who's like, he's vocal, he's dodging assassination attempts, like he's literally going to war against the Democrats on every possible front, right? Now, even though he ain't really been in any military wars, him getting shot in the air, and we talked about this. I was like, yo, this is going to seal a deal for him as far as being president.
And people within our comments was like, you guys are idiots for thinking that that's going to win him the election. And
sure enough, did it. Right. Because people were then saying like, oh, divine intervention. He's blessed by God. And the shooter's apartments were professionally cleaned and scrubbed. So there's like no way that this was some amateur So the Democrats had to be involved. It was like the perfect storm to create this like fictional character. And then I would say the winner in all of this shit, if I'm being perfectly honest, is J.D. Vance. So he's the Pompey, I think. Although he hasn't turned on Trump yet, I personally think, like, as eloquent as the dude is, like, if you listen to him talk, he sounds like he knows his shit. Whether it all checks out factually is another question, and it's up for debate. But when you listen to dude talk, he sounds extremely confident. I believe he was a lawyer, so he knows like the laws. He knows how the judicial system works. He knows the branches of government, which I'm sure Trump probably doesn't know because most people don't. And I feel like Trump has had so much heat on him, even just like this first month of his fucking presidency, bro. Eventually, everybody's going to get tired of him like they did the last time. Remember, Mike Pence turned on him.
Yeah. Pence was sick of him.
Right. And then Trump ordered him to be hung.
Yeah.
Crazy. Right. Well, let me not say that because Trump didn't order him to be hung, but his Trump supporters, the vigilantes was like, we got the news for you, Mike. Where you at?
We had practice of this.
Real shit. And I think J.D. Vance is capable enough. He presents well. He's not like super extremist. He's not outwardly extremist, at least. I don't know what he's doing in his private time. I think once people get tired of him, Trump will get pushed out. Vance will step up. Elon now is the financial backing, and he has the tech, which is like the new military, essentially. Like if you control technology, social media, you can create disasters all over the fucking world. Elon backs him. Maybe Vance names Elon as VP. Like you got a whole nother 16 years of the same shit that we're already dealing with. Until people would just be like, all right, we've had enough. And now the Democrats are storming the fucking Capitol. And that's basically what caused the fall of Rome, was like the Roman people were at each other's throats. They couldn't decide on who they wanted to be as leaders, even though like Caesar's line, Julius Caesar's like his heritage just kept passing, the title down. Yeah. I think we're seeing the same shit, just a less bloody version of it.
For now.
Yeah.
I mean, what was what did Elon do?
When? Like he's done so much shit. Like
I'm trying to say the
the Roman salute.
The Romans, that's what they're calling it.
Yeah. Crazy.
My man did that back to back too. He did it twice.
Right. And then somebody else just came on and recently did it. And then I believe
Sig Heil, is that what it's called?
I guess. I don't even remember. But somebody else did that also. Like I think it was a teacher, kind of like as a joke, and lost her fucking job.
Good. What the fuck is wrong with you?
I don't know. Like, I don't know. And then like, even if that's the case, isn't America its own empire? Mm-hmm. Why are you trying to recreate an empire that collapsed on itself?
Right.
That to me is stupid.
Yeah.
I'm not glorifying something that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, and it failed.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. That's a big thing, actually. It doesn't make any sense.
No.
To be like, you know what? I want to be what they did. I want to do what they did. Like they lost.
They did. For damn sure.
Why would you want that?
Even like I can get why Julius Caesar would idolize Alexander the Great. Like even like his end was miserable. Like he died young to a horrific fucking disease where he basically was buried alive. You want to be that? Like you can't just say, "Oh, I'm gonna do everything he did and only think about the good things."
Yeah, this is a stupid question.
Yeah, of course.
The Caesar salad, is it after?
I don't know. Actually, I don't know. I think the Caesar salad is only because the dressing that you use is Caesar dressing. Really? Yeah, I don't think
it's not like the Julius Caesar salad.
I don't think so. But that would actually be fire if I was like, a red state and I wanted to open a restaurant. I'm like, we have the Julius Caesar salad, And
it's the same shit, but I'll get to charge you fucking $15 more.
And you get to wear a crown if you order it. Like, oh my God. Ultra ego inflation.
That's funny.
Right. Wow.
But man, what's it called?
But do you see the parallels?
Yeah. And I've seen it like, I remember when like you brought it up a couple weeks ago that you wanted to talk about it. I was like, low key, it's the fucking same.
Yeah.
It's like, it's kind of scary
right.
how accurate, like parallel it is.
Yeah. I agree. And I think the only thing that's left is for Trump to start a war. I feel like once Trump does that, it's just going to accelerate the timeline.
How has he not? I feel like that man is so ready for war.
No, but you know what? People will probably overlook this. Remember when he was like talking all that shit to Canada?
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of like news outlets were reporting like from Canada that people were potentially talking about declaring war.
Really?
Yeah. Now I don't know like how true that is.
Did you see the fucking hockey games?
They're booing American anthem.
That shit got nasty.
Yeah.
Like it was getting fucking crazy in the audience.
Even at the WWE event that they just had, they were booing the national anthem.
They're booing their future anthem. How dare they? Do they not know that's their future national anthem?
What did Trump say that was going to be the 51st?
Yeah.
I'm like, I thought we already had that, but okay.
Do we?
I thought Puerto Rico was.
No,
Puerto Rico's a territory.
Yeah, they're not about to make us nothing.
Yeah, you're right. Damn, Puerto Rico don't even get to be a state. Holy shit.
This is fucking. We own y'all, but y'all do y'all.
I would like to like literally go and get the pulse of the people in Puerto Rico on how they feel about like the U.S. as a whole and not being technically considered American citizens.
You know, back in the day, when I was a kid, 8, 10 years old, Puerto Rico doesn't really quite, or at that time, they didn't really know how taxes work.
Yeah.
Right. And because they're not a state, they don't pay taxes.
Yeah.
Right. But the motherfuckers were charging extra for taxes, but it was just like more money in their pocket.
Yeah.
Like I remember my grandparents was like, if you go to like the store now, what used to be like $5 is like $5.70.
Yeah.
And they're like, why is it $5.70? They're like, taxes? And it's like, no, this is just for an extra 70 cents for you.
Your grandparents own stores here or was it back?
It was in Puerto Rico.
Okay.
That shit had me dying.
Wow. And you know what? I'm never going to look at the poppy stores the same because I know these Dominican and Puerto Ricans, when they be charging shit, I'd be looking at the register now and it'd be like, oh yeah, it's $3 for the bananas, but now it's $3.60 or whatever. I'm like
taxes.
Where the fuck are you getting the math from? and I might just be an ignorant American for this, but are we even supposed to be taxing food? Like, what the fuck?
I don't know what gets taxed. Is it food or clothes? No,
I gotta look this shit up, bro.
I always fucking one of them.
Have I been getting finessed by your fucking people for all these years?
Bro, it's like people think that like honestly, everybody thinks everything is taxed.
Yes.
Like medical equipment, like if you go to the doctors and you get glasses or some shit, you're not supposed to get taxed on that. Like, you know what I mean? It's like
you're not.
You don't get taxed. It's not. You can't tax that because that's a medical property.
Oh shit! I didn't know that.
Yeah, you're not allowed to. And people don't know that.
Okay. In general, the sale of food and non-alcoholic beverages by a caterer or eating establishment is subject to tax. Any entity that sells food or other taxable items in PA must run. Okay. But okay. California Constitution, Article 13, Section 34. In general, tax does not apply to sales of food products for human consumption, except as provided in regulations. Okay. So grocers in particular should know that tax applies to sales of hot prepared food products.
So only if it's cooked, they can tax it?
Yeah. So no, we shouldn't.
Not bananas? They just be doing anything.
I will snap. I promise you, I will crash out. If the next time I go to a store and I get some fucking fruit or something, I see taxes on my shit,
like, hey,
I'm gonna crash out. Because 30 years I've been paying for this shit.
Yeah. Just say ICE one time. They'll be like, no, we're good.
Nah, you can make that joke. I'm not even gonna play like that, bro.
Like, no tax. Never mind. You're good.
Oh, but I'm glad you said that actually, because a key point in all of like some of the trouble that the Roman Empire actually had that I kind of glossed over was that there
immigration.
No, dead ass. There were barbarians like raiding Roman cities, but because the empire had spread so far so quickly, and they couldn't oversee every territory that they had. So, I mean, if you want to oversimplify it, like the immigrants were destroying their shit.
Hilarious.
But if the Roman Empire had taken the time to fucking properly assimilate these people, accept them to be like real citizens, give them prominent positions and work, maybe they would have staved off some of that damage.
That's so funny.
Right, like you could think about it one of two ways. You can be a fucking victim or the victor. I don't know. You tell me.
It was like, we gotta deport these fucking barbarians.
Yeah. What do they call them? Illegals. That's instead of a barbarian, you're an illegal. Yeah. Nah, that's crazy. They really just changed the language, but keep shit the same. Yeah.
Shit don't change.
Right.
That was good.
Yeah, I'm glad you liked it. I was like, I don't know. George has been kind of under the weather, so we'll see how the conversation goes. But you're awake. You're alert.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, brain is kind of working.
It's somewhere.
Yo, but if there's something that you guys want to talk about or learn about, please let us know. And as always, like, comment, subscribe. We appreciate you guys. Wow. Oh my God, bro. I think my brain is cooked. Along the way. My brain is cooked. We appreciate you guys for sticking around and for supporting the channel. See you next week.